So another question we have is, what is the change that the VA is trying to make on the VA pension, or what is known as aid in attendance? And so this is a benefit that for a married veteran, what's called a wartime veteran, can mean up to $25,000 a year tax-free. And you use that money to pay for long-term care. That could be care at home, in an assisted living facility, or even in a nursing home. And so right now, there is no what's called look back period, where if we apply right now, does the VA look back in time and say, did you give away any assets? Well, right now, there is no such period. But the VA is trying to create that look back period. And earlier this year, they said, this is what we're doing. We're changing the rules. Now, whether they can do that or not, it's for a different video. And they gave an open period till March to comment on that. But in our experience, even though it's now May, we're not seeing them apply these rules. And I think that's because there's so many problems with these rules, where I think the VA maybe didn't think it through clearly what they were saying. And I'll give you just one example. They say, if you give anything to a trust, then we're going to penalize you. So we apply now, we look back in time, and their proposal is 3 years. And then if we gave anything away, they're going to penalize us or punish us going forward. Well, so if you give away anything to a trust, we'll penalize you. So very simple example, say a veteran, married veteran, they meet the military requirements, the disability requirements, the financial requirements, so income and assets. They've got $40,000 in assets. And 2.5 years ago, they set up, for estate planning purposes, a revocable living trust. That's a trust, a box we put stuff in. It's still considered ours for all intents and purposes. So a veteran does that, they're in perfect health, and now they've had a stroke and they need this VA pension. So the VA would say, aha, you gave away assets. That's a problem. We're going to penalize you. Well, that still would be considered our assets, and maybe it's a house we put in. So we put in the house plus 40,000, and see, normally the house doesn't count as an asset. But now, since we transferred into this revocable living trust, which really does nothing in terms of ownership, the VA is going to say, now we're going to penalize you. Well, that just wasn't well thought out. That's not what the VA means, but that's what they wrote. So they're trying to change it. And so here's the bottom line. If you think you might qualify for this benefit, you need to get with a lawyer right away, because you may need to take action now before that what's called look back period comes into play. And so on any of these, if we can help you, if you live in Alabama, or this is about a family member in Alabama, you can always reach us at 205-879-2447, or you can go to alabamaconsumer.com. That's our website for consumer issues, or alabamaelderlawyer.com, and that's estate planning or elder law issues.